Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the HoN series of World Cup. Today, this is the quarterfinals, game number 1 of the matchup between SK Gaming and DotallyRad.com. Yes, they are Dotally Rad from Dota, but they do play Heroes of Newerth. They have now made it to the round of 8 here in the World Cup, and today this cast is going to be brought to you by myself, the Sean, the FourCourtJester Delaney from GameReplays.org, as well as Matt, Insane Rabbi Levin from Cybernetics TV. How are you doing today, sir?
Pretty good. I got our bans and picks right here. We do have SK with the first pick and first ban. They banned in order Hellbringer, Thunderbringer, and Swiftblade. Their opponents DRD had banned Flint, Dr. Repulsor, and Devourer. SK first picking Pharaoh. Then we see Witch and Voodoo Jester response from DRD. Tundra Glacius for SK. Hag Soulstealer for DRD. Forsaken Archer and Behemoth for SK, and then Pestilence to wrap it all up for DRD. So we're definitely going to see a tri-lane top coming out from this Legion team in the form of Glacius, Behemoth, Forsaken Archer, and we're going to see a tri-lane most likely from DRD in the form of Voodoo Jester, Witch Slayer, and Pestilence. And for some reason, my vote to pause did not work, so let's take a quick break and we'll go right after the pause. And we're back. Sorry about that. Minor technical difficulties, but we are good to go now. We do see Soulstealer and Witch Slayer in mid, doubling up against Angry Testy, playing that Tundra. As for top, we're going to see Forsaken Archer and Behemoth against what looks like Voodoo Jester and Pestilence for right now. Now the question is, was Glacius going to come over to mid? It looks like he is going to go back top. And things on bottom is it's going to be Pharaoh versus Wretched Hag. JCP Lord playing that Hag, Tobacco on that Pharaoh. So how do you think these lanes are going to play out, Jester? Do you think you give anybody a specific advantage?
Well, Tundra in the mid, I mean, Angry Testy is nobody to be underestimated, so to speak, so he'll have a little bit of trouble, but who is going to be in trouble is Dagius up top. This Voodoo Jester, he's nice and sandwiched up against the forest here because of that Behemoth Fisher. Looks like he's going to get out of it all right, those trees playing a little bit more hindrance than help in this round, but it's going to be a little tough for the Tundra in the mid. Two ranged heroes is who his opponents are going to be, and he is, of course, melee range. So he's going to have a little bit trouble there. This is in response to the tri-lane that SK has running up top. It's a very, very powerful tri-lane up top, as Testy does take more damage here. Again, he's just going to have a hard time in this lane. Now, up top, this tri-lane, however, I really do fully expect it to be grabbing a first kill, most likely on the Voodoo Jester, since he is a squishy hero, but you really can't underestimate the combination of Pestilence and a Voodoo Jester. They just work hand in hand so well. It's almost like they were designed for each other.
I agree. It does look as though the Mojo is going to be the skill build of choice here for Dagius, looking to play the healer / damage over time Voodoo Jester, which is pretty common these days. A lot of people used to think you could only go stun and cursed ground, but now, people are like, hey, the Mojo, it's cost effective, it's a great heal, blah, 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 blah. And, I agree with them. So it's good to see that that healer status is going to be thrown out there from Voodoo Jester towards Pestilence. It'll allow him to somewhat farm against this tri-lane, but really, in my opinion, it's not going to be enough. As soon as they pull this wave back, which it looks like they're doing right now, it's going to be worlds of hurt for this Pestilence up top.
Yeah, we will have to keep an eye on how SK does respond to this. Now, with Tundra in the mid, I mean, he does have a level advantage right now, but his farming capacity is going to be greatly diminished. He only has 7 creep kills at this time, whereas Soulstealer there has at least 10. But it does look like the combination up top wants to go down. Voodoo Jester is the target, and a great Fisher there from Fog is going to be the Bloodlust kill. And as I said, this tri-lane, they have to make this DRD pay for what they're doing here, because they're taking a laner from the tri-lane, throwing the mid to try to keep down Angry Testy, but in retaliation, the only way to get SK to make DRD reevaluate that is going to have to be dominating the lanes. Now, down south with Pharaoh and Wretched Hag, most likely they're going to go back and forth, but it's very hard to keep a Wretched Hag exactly where you want her, simply because of that flash of darkness. So they're going to go back and forth, but I don't expect too much to be going on down there.
Well, we'll see. I think once JCP Lord dings 5, if he can bring his bottle to himself and get a lot of mana, the slows, the blink and such, it can cause some severe problems for Pharaoh. Hag is not a bad call against Pharaoh, and there is the bottle or the boots. I can't quite tell if the boots are his. So right now, Pharaoh's in a lot of trouble. He's going to get haunted right here, screamed on, and Voodoo Jester even porting bottom to make sure this tobacco is going to go down, although port's coming in bottom. And you know what? I think that was a huge misplay by JCP Lord. I think if he would have positioned himself a lot better, he would have gotten a couple extra hits off. And really, he just didn't play that well. He needed to play more aggressive if he planned on killing that Pharaoh, but instead, he slacked off right there. He's like, oh, I'm going to get the kill anyways, and, well, turns out you're not. So, JCP Lord, bit of a positional error right there. Action mid, though, we do see Tundra doing what he can, microing that board, trying not to die to this Witch Slayer Soul Stealer combination, and he is going to get out all right. And with that bottle mid, I don't really know how I feel about that. I would have preferred a Chalice build on him in this situation. But yeah, as for right now, we do see Voodoo Jester electing to sit in bottom and Pestilence basically conceding the lane up top.
Yeah, without his support, I mean, Pestilence, he's a big hero. He's a big boy. He can take care of himself, but without that support, especially against a tri-lane or at least a dual lane in this regard with 2 disables, he is just going to get walked right all over like the cockroach he is.
Yeah, and back to that Chalice in mid, this is my problem with it. You have 2 people in mid, one of which is going to get a bottle, i.e. Soul Stealer, and you know they're going to rune control with that Witch Slayer. When you don't have the ability to get runes, why would you get a bottle? Like, I don't understand that. I really think there was a huge misplan right there, missing the axes as well. He should have thrown them at max distance to get that CK that he wanted, and of course, he would have been able to hit the Soul Stealer. I don't see a very good Tundra coming out of SK Angry Testy. He's one of the best solo mid players. He's up there with Chew. He's up there with No Tail. And, man, I just see, I see basically awful play coming out of Testy compared to what we've seen from him in the past. It does look as though a full lane swap is going to occur, though. Pestilence porting bottom. And we do have Behemoth in this bottom rune actually doing some work against Witch Slayer. Witch is trapped. SS trying to get to him, but I don't think he's going to be able to. And I don't quite know why Fog didn't complete that attack right there, although he's going to back up, and everything's going to go back to normal.
Oh, as a note, with the lane swap, that is now going to be a solo lane up top with Forsaken Archer taking on Wretched Hag. Arguably, Wretched Hag has the advantage with the level 6, but at this point, she just used her Flash of Darkness. It's still on cooldown, and that will most likely be a kill with those poison skeletons. It is, but down south, Voodoo Jester also paying the price, so SK laying down the hurt in 2 of the 3 lanes, and it does look like this Pestilence is just on the retreat. Now, you were talking about a bit about the bottle here in mid. Tundra will not have rune control solo as it is, and we just passed the 7-minute mark, so we don't actually have any wards out on the rune spawns themselves. But as a note with the Soul Stealer, he also had a bottle. In fact, it was his first item, and what he elected to do was get Witch Slayer to carry the bottle to the runes, fill it up, and then give it back to the Soul Stealer. I thought that was actually a pretty clever play on their part.
Yeah, Tundra vs. Soul Stealer is, a lot of people will disagree with this, a lot of lower skilled players will disagree with this. It's Tundra favored, and it is not significantly Tundra favored, but relatively Tundra favored. I'd say, 60-40 matchup. You have to really outplay the Tundra, and that's why they doubled up mid. That's also why you see the bottle first, because they know they're going to establish rune control by doubling up mid. And in a sense, Tundra, like I said, he got that bottle. Unless you're constantly cycling it on your Crow, I don't understand why he got it. He could have gone Chalice and been nuking every single wave and gotten, 3 CK every single wave, even against 2 people, and sitting in EXP range. Bit of a mistake here. 8-mana rune going to Tundra on top. And right there, oh, wow. Really, Tundra? Tundra had a kill. He just let SS walk away. All he had to do was press R and click on SS, and he was dead. Really awful play. Like, I don't mean to be so critical, and it's very easy to criticize from our position. We're sitting here watching them play, but, like, Angry Testy, I've never actually seen his Tundra. Oh, there it is. He's going to walk forward, start blowing the DD, and Behemoth helping out with the Fissure Stun to be absolutely certain that Tundra does get that kill. But it seems like maybe Angry Testy is not as comfortable playing Tundra as he is playing a bunch of the other solo mid heroes that we've seen him play in the past. Nevertheless, Forsaken Archer taking a lot of damage on top. Haunt goes off, ult goes off, so Forsaken Archer is going to actually take 2 different forms of damage. And the ult goes out! Wow, Trout picks up the kill. Unbelievable. I'm speechless right now.
It is a very strong position right now for SK. Wretched Hague, she did jump in there with that Flash of Darkness and CP Lord. I mean, he just really wanted that kill. He threw everything he had on her, but at the same time, he had to tower dive, and then without any mana, just could not get away. And, Tralfamador here, he definitely knew what was going on, and he timed all that pretty perfectly, I must say.
Well, that's the second time I think we've seen Hag overplay into Tralf up top into the Forsaken Archer. He's like, yo, I'm going to use my Blink. Oh, wait, now I can't, use Blink to escape. And that's the second time he's done that against Tralf. So, oh, man, DRD, you don't like to see people make mistakes like that. JCP Lord, he's supposedly a really top-tier player. I'll tell you, everyone on DRD will tell you, they'll tell you that, but man, it's hard to watch these mistakes that both teams are playing, both the Hag and, in my opinion, Angry Testy in mid. It's awkward because both these teams are so high skilled. Witchslayer over here getting caught, and it looks as though Behemoth, a bit of an awkward fissure there, didn't go the way he wanted. He tried to block them off, instead helped them escape. Behind the play, we have a lot of action going down though. Tundra and Forsaken Archer both doing work against Voodoo Jester, but nothing's gonna come of it.
No, it was definitely a split attention fight right there with the two heroes that Behemoth unwittingly, he let them escape for sure with that fissure. Just it went off a little too far. This, however, will be a kill on the Pestilence. Almost no doubt about that, with a great fissure coming out of him that time. But, with the two fights, I mean, people have to split their attentions and subsequently split the damage. And, just when you split the damage this early game, it's almost not going to be enough to pick off some of these harder ones. Now, see, Wretched Hague here, not too hard because we didn't split the damage. She just went all out right on top of him, got controlled to death, and she paid the price. I mean, 8-0 right now for SK Gaming. They did take out this mid tower already, and now it looks like they're just going to town here in the top lane.
Soulstealer coming top with a double damage rune with his int treads on, so he's looking to have a little bit of extra mana to cast some spells with. But I mean, I'm just in shock. I'm really in shock that Wretched Hag got killed again, overplaying again, and JCP Lord, definitely not one of his better games. He needs to step it up. He needs to pull it back, refocus. He might be rattled for some reason. I don't quite know. But you can't have that. There's a $40,000 prize pool on the line out here. You can't make mistakes like this in such a high priority tournament.
No, I mean, it is a lot of pressure. So some people, I mean, I can't imagine what they're going to do to deal with it. But, hey, stuff happens. Down goes the ultimate on top of Robert Lee. Witchslayer is going to be joining the grave again. Some good axes coming out as well as the crippling volley. Ad actually missed the target, so they were able to take down... did Pestilence die there as well? Yes, he indeed. So another 2 kills being racked up here for SK Gaming. They're going to intercept the creep wave here and just let their own little rattle around here in the defensive tower. And we do have Shiver up here from the Tundra, the Beastmaster himself. They're going to easily find Voodoo Jester just hanging out, as well as Whack over here on the Soulstealer. It's not going to go the way they planned, however, because we do have... Oh, this is probably the best play that we're going to see so far. 2 support coming in here to help out this Soulstealer, and it is going to be a triple kill for DRD Gaming on top of SK. That was a little... They wore out their welcome a little bit. They shouldn't have done that.
Well, they were just cocky as can be, and it's both teams not very big fans of each other, so I can assure you that... SK wanted to prove a point and really wanted to embarrass DRD, but DRD not having any of it, they were like, hey, if you're going to sit around and overplay your heroes for way too long, we're going to actually turn it on you. And that's exactly what happened. 4 heroes dove beyond the tower up into the trees, and they got 3-ported on. Hag turned around, hit an ult on 4 of the enemy heroes, and another sonar stream on 3 of them, picks up 3 kills because of it. So SK, that was just really, really, immature of them. I'm not going to call it stupid because I know they're smarter than that. They're trying to prove a point to DRD. They're trying to smash them into the ground as opposed to merely playing smart and getting the win. So it's interesting to cast these games, or this game in particular, in this series it will be, because both teams hate each other so much. You can kind of see it in their play. You can see their unnecessary aggression, their overplays, their wanting to be flashy and cute, instead of just, okay, I respect my enemy team, I'm going to play solid, I'm not going to make any mistakes. Instead, we see JCP Lord trying to do too much work on the Forsaken Archer and dying 3 times because of it. We see Angry Testy among the rest of SK diving a minute after the team fight in past the tower up into the trees. You can't do stuff like that. It doesn't work. And both teams just really trying to push the other one not just out of the spotlight of the tournament, but really into the embarrassment factor.
Down south, we do have Tobacco doing a little bit of overplaying of himself. The top tower, it does go down, but Tundra, Angry Testy, he is definitely a little bit angry right now, and that is going to be a double kill for SK. So talking a little bit about that overextension, they thought they saw a free Pharaoh kill, but instead it got turned right upon their head with 3, well, I have to say ports at this point, since I don't think any of these guys were around here at the time, and now it does look like the defense tower is in their sights. It's not quite deniable, but this should be a fairly simple kill for SK to pick up.
Yeah, it's going to depend here which Slayer's coming in. I know Hag wants to come in, and I believe Hag has everything up. Yes, she does. But at the same point in time, don't get fissured. Hag, we've seen him overplay a few times before, and look at this Pharaoh and how tanky he is. 1300 HP, and he has Shaman's Headdress, so he is not dying anytime soon. Relatively good farm, going up one-on-one against the Hag. In a side lane where Hag does have the slow. I mean, he won the lane, he's got the items, so he's going to be able to go around, initiate non-stop, most likely onto this Soul Stealer. And if he can initiate on Soul Stealer over and over again, there's not a whole lot of hope for DRD this game.
Well, Pharaoh is picked up simply for his initiation purposes as well. I mean, his level 6 is a great, quote, blind skill shot. It can just really turn the tide in some battles. The other great initiation factor we got here is this Fissure. It's such an immense range. It could also be used to split the team. It's a defensive mechanism. It could also be an offensive mechanism. Cut off the enemy attack route, force them to fight you. And really, what do we got here for DRD? It's not going to be that Voodoo Jester that just died down south. I'll tell you that. I mean, I don't really see any kind of big counter initiation point except maybe a portal key. Pestilence at this point. Well,
what ended up happening in the situation on bottom, JCP Lord decided to go after Pharaoh, and 1300 HP plus a Shaman's Headdress. When you blow your ult on a single person as Wretched Hag, you better be doing it to get a kill. Pharaoh was at 700 health when he did that, and he already had used Sonar Scream just before that. I'm really upset at JCP Lord this game. He is playing, how shall I say this, in a god-awful way, because literally he is costing his team this game. He is fed, what is his stats? Let's take a look on the exact stats. He's 0-3. I thought he died earlier. I must have, because I know he overplayed in a Forsaken Archer twice. I thought there was a third time he died. He might have gotten out of there alive. My mistake. But he's 0-3 as a hero that is designed to semi-carry and has an escape mechanism. If you break even with a Pharaoh, it's understandable. Pharaoh's a good solo hero, but when you do things like blow your ultimate on one hero, okay, only viable if, you're going to get the kill. The guy had 700-800 HP and a Shaman's. He has magic armor. Your ult does almost nothing to him. So, JCP Lord, I don't know if he's distracted, if he's rattled, what's going on, but I mean, DRD in general are not playing that bad. It's just JCP Lord is feeding so horridly that it's costing him the rest of the game.
Well, speaking of DRD, Moon Meander, he goes down to a lot of focus fire here from SK. You saw the Fissure come out and block off his escape, and we are, 18 minutes into this game. Pestilence farm is not that great. It's 140 gold a minute, nowhere near that portal key that he really wants to be picking up. And, well, with the Fisher at his back and 4 heroes in his front, I mean, he was almost dead by the time the stun wore off. It does look like SK is going to be out for blood. Another kill in the mid, however, Tobacco picking up the Witch Slayer, Robert Lee, and it does look like that the Soul Stealer, he kind of knew what was coming up, so Whack teleported right back to town, and this top tri-lane has now reunited. They're just going to do a little bit of pushing here, because we do only have the 1 tower left. No, my mistake. We still have the bottom tower as well, but mid has now been completely destroyed lane-wise.
Yeah, I mean, top and bottom, only the tier 2 towers left. As for that last play with Moon Meander going down, it's kind of an unwritten rule in competitive HoN that if you're not going to be able to defend the tower, don't stand near it and fake like, oh, I'm going to, stop you from taking this tower. And that's what Moon Meander tried to do. In pubs, it might work. Against good kids with 2,000 burst, all chain stuns, you don't want to do that. And actually right here, it looks like a couple of them might get caught. Behemoth Fissure blinking in, ulting. Oh no, this is not looking good for DRD right here. Ice going out. He's going to drop and whack. Oh, he's trying to get out of here alive. I don't know if he'll be able to. I didn't see that Pharaoh still at his ult, so not a chance for Soul Stealer right there. Hag blinking in. Tundra doing some work up top as well. He's going to chase down that Voodoo Jester. Glacius porting out. Good job by Glacius. Hag, don't know where he went. Oh, he's down here. I don't think... Yes, Angry Testy is going to be able to chase this Hag down. Hag has Blink now, and it looks like he's going to be able to get out. So a 4-for-1 trade. I take it back. I did not see Forsaken Archer dying there. Yeah, you had someone top, someone bottom, and your opponents have an 1100 range stun that leads into 2000 burst damage. Don't walk forward faking to defend the tower to try and stall for time. It's dumb. You're going to get killed. And I hate to say it, but in this situation, Moon Meander did just that. So he completely gave away a free kill to the Team SK and accomplished nothing by it. In a pub, it works. But this is not a pub. This is the round of 8 winners bracket. And really, with relatively big mistakes coming out from both sides, I hate to say it, but it really doesn't look like it. It looks almost like it'd be something we see in the Amateur League Finals at GameReplays.org.
Well, with a score of 19-4 and, a 10,000 experience lead with a 12,500 gold lead at 21 minutes, yeah, usually most teams would have conceded almost immediately at the 15-minute mark. Now, as you did say, we are in the top 8, so teams are not terrible. I mean, look at this Pestilence right now, just going to get destroyed by this Forsaken Archer. It does look like the Soul Stealer already did get destroyed, but we do have CP Lord. He's going to be trying to do a little bit of damage here. He took out Tobacco with the help of Robert Lee. Well, it's the other way around. Robert Lee took him out with the help of him as well. And now SK just overextending too much. They're going to lose Tralfamador in that exchange as well. In fact, that was, a 3-for-2 exchange? I do believe that Pestilence did die. He did die.
I believe it was like 3-for-3 overall or something along those lines. Either way, nothing significant. Forsaken Archer went down, but other than that, your Tundra is good. Oh, actually, look at this. Pharaoh went down. I did not catch that. That is significant. In my opinion, Pharaoh, with Helm of the Black Legion, with Shamans, Steam Boots, and that Chalice, he's just as much of a carry as anyone else on this team right now. And with Forsaken Archer going down and him going down, that is a bit of a concern. I don't think you really want to see that because Soul Stealer and Hag, the 2 heroes that need farm on DRD, do have the farm. Obviously, Pesty needs it as well, but going up 1-on-3 or 2-on-3, he's not going to have that farm for quite some time. I just don't really expect to look at him for another 5 to 10 minutes. Once he does have that portal key that you were talking about, then we can determine, how useful he'll be in this game. Till then, he just needs to farm because if he goes into any of these team fights, he's going to be absolutely worthless.
Well, we were talking a little bit about farming. I was watching Whack here on the Soul Stealer, and he has himself a portal key and a Mighty Blade, so he's going to be going to try to get a little bit more tanky with that Mighty Blade. He's going to turn that into a Shrunken Head, and that might actually start changing the tides of battle into DRD's favor. Really depends a lot on positioning and skill, but on the same side, Tralfamador, he already has a Shrunken Head, and Angry Testy on Tundra, he has a level 2 Puzzle Box, so that's a lot of extra burst damage that's now going to be coming out of here. What's going on up top, however, does look like Tobacco really overextending, almost meeting their entire team right by that tower. So, I mean, great. You're in the lead, 20-7. You're feeling confident. You don't have to play, a little bit overconfident.
Right, you don't have to make flashy plays at this point in the game if you're SK. You don't have to make the beautiful OMG, I can't believe you just did that type play. It's not worth it. And here we go, Ice going out on a JCP Lord. Chain the CC is Angry Testy. Nice Blink ult coming out from Fogged. So they take Hag down instantaneously. And did Glacius just ult? Yeah. SK's not even taking this game seriously. That's how far in the lead they kind of know they are. But at the same point in time, if people like Tobacco keep ulting in and tower diving, when DRD 4 ports on you, you're going to die. No matter, you may have Shamans, you may have Helm of the Black Legion, but you're still killable 1-on-5. So, yeah, definite overplay there by Tobacco. I don't blame him, though, because he did see Witch Slayer, who does only have 701 HP, and you are tanky enough, and with mummies, you should be able to get out of there, but yet again, DRD, they're not that bad of a team. They are going to pour it in. They are going to save their supports if need be. They are definitely going to save their carries, so you can't really tower dive like that. If you would have just waited a little bit for Behemoth to be in position, would have been a genocide, and SK would have pushed into racks right now. But instead, you get a little overzealous, you get a little cocky, and you do that a few more times, DRD is right back in it.
Down south, we do have the creep waves natural progression going to be taking out a tower here at SK. That puts us at 2 towers down for SK Gaming, but at the same time, they still have a 4-tower lead right now over DRD, and they're kind of hanging back right now. A lot of reevaluation probably going on within the ranks of both teams. Neither of them really being super aggressive, although we do have 2 heroes up top pushing the lane. They do have this tower in sight again. They did successfully take down this bottom tower, so now to get rid of the last bastion of free vision and safety net for DRD, they want to put a little bit of pressure here up top. Now the counter warding going down as well. BDiz is making sure to eliminate all the eyes and ears of Team DRD so that they will be blind to whatever's coming up next. And Shiver here from Tundra, I mean, that's also just another free ward, so to speak. It is a flying item while flying NPC, and she usually is invisible, but with Swarm on from that Pestilence, it's not exactly invisible. But still, she's resummonable, and look, she's already back up, doing her work.
And dead. The bird, also known as the Map Hawk, because it gives you the ability to Map Hawk. LOL, that's a funny joke. Pharaoh actually ulting in, though, behind the play. Huge Behemoth ult, catching, oh man.
Catching all of them.
There's nothing to commentate. Yo, dog, Pharaoh and Behemoth, 2v5, let's do it. That was absurd. That was really well done by SK right there. And wow, that is a Rax. That is awful positioning by DRD. You cannot make those mistakes at this level of play. I've seen pubs spread out better than this. So I know it seems like I'm coming off so critical, and I do apologize for that, but I'm kind of upset at DRD's performance in this game. Sure, Angry Testy might have made some mistakes earlier on Tundra, but we're all entitled to make a few mistakes. DRD in general is playing like they either A, don't care, or B, are just absurdly awful. And I know they're not awful. I've played against them numerous times. They're not bad players, both as a team and as individuals, but in this game, they are just not showing their true potential.
That is one way to put it. I mean, they are severely outkilled and outexperienced at this point, and now with an entire lane in the dust, I mean, that's just going to be one more thing for them to keep on in the back of their minds. So here are those beefy creeps. I mean, they have a huge hit point jump. I mean, let's just take a look at... Well, let's take a look at Pharaoh as he's about to die, but he is going to take Moon Meander with him. But right now, a regular sapling has 580 hit points, and now these beefier ones have 757. That's a good amount to a team. I mean, that is even having trouble with just the heroes themselves. Look at that Fisher coming out of Behemoth, going to be grabbing JCP Lord as he goes down. Who's playing that? Behemoth, it is Fogged, and Fogged is actually doing a very good Behemoth right now. 6-1-12. The 12 is the big important part at this point. 12 assists with 6 kills to boot. He's been part of 18 of the 28 kills that SK has set up. So he's playing his part very well with that Fissure.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot ask for perfection, but you can ask for, pretty close to perfection, and he's delivered. 1 or 2 kind of bad fissures. Other than that, superb play. So I think actually game MVP probably going to go to Fogged this game. Tobacco as well, hitting some great ults and getting a good farm and getting that tankiness that Pharaohs are so well known for. And yeah, really it's just going to come down to SK Gaming getting one more good team fight like they had earlier, taking a second Rax, and that'll pretty much put DRD in the dust. This Pestilence over here is struggling to get that P key, 1,250 gold. He needs to farm that P key. He needs to sit there and, until he can get that P key, not fight a team fight.
In theory, that would work, but I do not think that SK Gaming wants to give them the time for him to farm up, and I don't think that DRD can actually afford a fight without him at this point. I mean, right now, the last few team fights have not gone in their favor, so they need all the help they can get, especially when compounded with the fact... Come here, Forsaken Archer. Ugh. Fine. Forsaken Archer, she does have a Geometer's Bane sitting pretty there in her inventory. That's going to split, make some illusions, and at this point, she's putting down a lot of hurt. 635 is her score, so she has been part of 11 of the kills. She's level 16. That's a level 3 ultimate to come out into the works as well, and with so much chain CCs coming out from SK, I mean, we do have Pharaoh, we got Glacius, we got Behemoth. I mean, that is a big opportunity to land a lot of damage.
Now, the one thing that DRD is sitting on is the fact that they have 2 carries and a semi-carry versus a carry and a semi-carry and a very soft semi-carry over here for SK. So, if this game does go 80 minutes, DRD basically auto-wins. Glacius has off scalability. Tundra does not scale very well. Pharaoh is okay at scaling. And Behemoth is pretty much maxed right now. He can get... there's nothing really he can get after the point he's in right now. So, it's just... Yeah, I just... DRD, Pestilence, and Soulstealer, and Hag, they can out-carry them. If everyone's level 25, everyone has maxed out items, they'll win the game. The problem is, can they get there? And the answer to that question, we will find out here probably in the next 5 minutes. Ooh, I thought Behemoth was going to go on that Soul Steal. I was hoping he was going to go, but in that situation, he elected not to, so...
Nope, instead what they're going to do is they're going to come into the base here straight up the gut. The defensive glyph has now been popped, but I mean, look how scared they are of just an illusion from Tralfamador. So he kind of basically single-handedly fends them off. They down the tower, and now up on the menu are these next 2 Raxes, unless DRD can get some kind of initiation in here right now. It looks like this is going to be the part where it happens, but no, the ultimate coming out of Pharaoh. Tobacco's going to be denying Whack his ultimate, and really the biggest source of damage that DRD could have been offering up right there is now well, it's not there. It's dead. It's gone. So, and now they're just going to clean up. I mean, look at right now. Pestilence, he is going to land a kill here on Tundra, and he's going to run away from the base. And, I mean, Glacius, he's pretty content to be banging around these ranged Raxes. And now the melee Rax is up on deck. The only defender still in base is Wretched Hag. And Behemoth, ooh, he has himself a tablet of command. He's going to come looking around for this Pestilence. Out goes the Fissure, traps him on the right side. And, ooh, not going to be the kill right there. But Pharaoh, most likely going to be jumping in here. Nope, portal key from the Behemoth. That's just going to add to the kill. And right now, Wretched Hag, she can't do anything. And look at that. There's the GG.
Yeah, this game was over a while ago, but I don't blame DRD for sticking around. They really wanted to make sure they couldn't turn it around, couldn't bring it late game, but 2 Raxes down, there's just not a whole lot you can do. So let's go ahead, let's move on to game 2, and we will cast that one. It should be coming up next.